Hi and welcome to this video. I'm Debbie Clement-Large. I'm a creative life coach and I'm a Heal Your Life teacher, and I'm really pleased today to be joined by French GP Dr. Val Jubert. Thank you so much for joining us today, Val. And
Thank you.
we're going to be talking about, do we really need someone to feel loved and to be happy? And that's such a massive topic, Val, and I'm sure you get a lot of people coming to see you with relationship problems.
Absolutely. Most of the patients I receive suffer from bad relationships, either in the couple or either in the families with their children and so on. And most of the people come here because they have no other place to tell that they are suffering, that's for sure.
Yeah.
And of course, that's a main question that I hear every day in my office, that's for sure.
And speaking from a person who is on their second marriage, so I've had a failed marriage, and
so did I.
Yeah, and I didn't know then what I know now about the importance of making yourself happy and not expecting somebody else to be there to create your happiness.
Absolutely. The main thing begins when you understand that if you know yourself enough and if you love yourself enough, you will attract the people that will be in the same feelings that you are. If you are as true as possible with yourself, then you attract the people that will be correct for yourself. That's for sure.
And
love yourself.
True.
Sorry.
Yeah, love yourself.
Love yourself.
Yeah.
Just exactly the way you are, with your own qualities, your own imperfections. And once you get this, it's easier to clear everything around you. That's sure.
And there's a couple of things really, is that we can be very hard on ourselves and very critical. And we can also, when we're in relationships, we can expect other people to think that they know what we want out of the relationship. And that doesn't always work. We can never assume somebody else can see what's in our head and understand what we're thinking.
And we think people are supposed to know what is good for us or not, which is absolutely untrue.
Yes. Because a lot of the time, we don't know what it is that we want to make ourselves happy, do we?
Because if we are all the same, we are all different. So, because we all had different experiences in our lives, and you cannot think that the people around you will understand what you need without saying it, without telling it. Absolutely.
And then when things don't work out, we have that little voice in our head where we talk to ourselves, and we build a little incident up into a big thing. And that can be so easy to do. And before we know it, we've made an assumption about what somebody has said or what they haven't done. And all of a sudden they don't love us or something else. And actually that isn't the case at all, but we've just made it into this big thing.
Yes, that's for sure. But when you feel loved by someone, for instance, I mean, if you have a lover, it gives you a feeling for a time that you are really valuable, that you are really the queen and the king of the world, and you can imagine everything in your life and everything is possible. But unfortunately, this feeling doesn't last in time.
Because you're not doing it yourself.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So maybe feeling valued without anybody else around you is the most important, I think.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Discovering your own value is the only way to feel happy, in a way. Without love, I mean, without.
Yeah. Because people come and go in our lives. You know,
Absolutely.
and the only person that we're ever always with for our whole life is ourselves.
Mm.
And
It's
you
the
can,
image, the image we have in the mirror, in front of the mirror, of our mirrors. That's why it is so important to work. We can tell people, of course, that maybe if they use the mirror work, it could be a very interesting thing, because you discover how to love the image you have about yourself.
mm,
Because I think what we really are inside is not necessarily what we show to the world, because we still are stuck in our old beliefs, in the I need to behave this way to be lovable, or to attract things, which is not. If you're not true to yourself, it cannot work.
mm. And I find as well, when people have just left one relationship, they don't give themselves time to find who they are, and they attract back in the same sort of person that they've just left,
Yeah.
just separated from. Um, so that can be challenging. We need to sort of get back to who we are, and like you say, you talked about mirror work. So just for everybody, if they haven't ever come across mirror work, that's actually talking to yourself in a positive way, using affirmations or power statements, whatever you want to call them, but looking at yourself in a mirror. So you're looking at yourself in the eyes, and actually that can be difficult.
Looking at your soul.
It is like looking at your soul. And that can be difficult for some people. They can really struggle with actually really looking at themselves, because they've built up such a self-hatred almost for themselves, which
And
they
this
mask.
self-hatred, this self-hatred can be nurtured by
Mm,
this feeling of not being loved when you quit a relationship, for instance, because it's easier for people to criticize who you are when they want to end a relationship. We always use criticizing, you're not like this, I would like you to be like that. Well, if you criticize the people in front of you, it's easier to leave, that's for sure.
mm,
And maybe it's interesting stopping the self-criticizing, break this circle in a way.
mm. And also not to take everything personally, and to realize that sometimes other people's dramas and what they say is their problem, and not,
Absolutely.
not to allow it on us, and to create a drama for ourselves.
Mm,
So it is all about how you talk to yourself,
mm.
isn't it? So, so, so powerful. And we see some wonderful people that are single, that never, that sort of have a wonderful, happy life. That
Most
never,
of the time, it is the most spiritual people who live by their own, because they understood that they all get inside what they needed to be happy.
yeah.
And inside of you, we've got all the tools in ourselves to love this world, to love this life, and to be as much as happy as possible.
Mm. Yeah. So have you got any
But we are
examples?
sorry.
Did you have any examples of people that you were thinking of?
Of course, think about the Dalai Lama, for instance.
Yeah, yeah.
It's possible for him to be happy without being loved or without sharing couple life. And most of the monks are like this too. It's not because they are connected to God or something like that. Maybe it's because they are really are part of a tribe. I think it's very important to feel connected with the others in any way. Love is not the only way to feel connected to the others. You have other people around you, friends or relatives or family, and the most important is to be really to feel connected
Mm.
with the herd.
Yeah, and you're right, because I know go by why follow the herd, and there's two reasons for that. The herd, like you say, is important. We want to feel part and connected with something, but it's about finding your authentic place and your true place.
Absolutely.
Without absolutely doing things to meet other people's expectations within that tribe. So yeah, I mean, we do like to be connected, and finding ourselves and being happy all comes from within, and being grateful for what we've got. Trying to look for the positive things rather than all the things that we're lacking. It's so easy to look at things and say, oh, I hate my relationship, or I hate my job, I hate where I live, and everything's really negative, but there's always something positive. There's always something nice somewhere.
It's very interesting to look around us, and we all know people who are probably so close to the real truth of themselves that they attract people around them, they attract light, they attract joy, they attract everything, because once you understood you've got everything inside, it just shows up the entire world. And it's like, a light in the middle of the night, you attract all the night butterflies and everything, and that's very interesting, I think.
It is. So you're right, because I've met some people like that, and there was a lady that came to visit when we were doing a course together, and she came on the last night. And had this most amazing energy, and when she sat down, just everybody went quiet, and actually she just became this automatic center of attention, and she was just really calm, and you could just tell that she was just so at peace with herself. She just knew who she was.
She was bright.
Yes,
bright,
she was.
And luminous.
Yes, she was. And you could tell that she was just so happy with who she was.
Absolutely.
And that
self-sufficient.
She was self-sufficient, and she was attracting that loving from everyone around her, because she just had this wonderful feel about her. You just wanted to be part of spending time with her.
Oh, yes. That's true. I remember that. And maybe she was, I don't know, there is another thing which is, I think, important. If you are not open to receive love, you won't receive love.
That's very good. Yeah, absolutely.
Be open-minded to that. So to be open-minded to receive love, you have to work a little on yourself. That's for sure.
And when when you mean love, you don't mean just a romantic love. It's just generally getting love and appreciation from people. But yes, you're right, because we can close ourselves off. We have a bad experience, and then we're afraid to show us who we are and open up and allow someone else to, because we're afraid of being hurt.
Being hurt and being lonely, because I think one of the most important things, people are unhappy nowadays because they feel they always have this same feeling of loneliness. When they are not lonely, they get happier. This is why the connection with the herd is important.
So do you find then, because we find in the UK that we can have older people that are on their own and become lonely, and then, not happy. So what would you suggest then for people like that, the older people?
I think the elderly are most of the time the wisest people you can ever meet. And I'm always surprised, because most of the time it is not the oldest people who feel really lonely, because their lives are back. They are, it's gone. they have a vision of things which is absolutely different and very interesting. They are so wise in all their ways, in a different way, in a different manner. But except for the people who live in houses for the elderly, it's easier for the people who live by their own, because I think they're not really um, it's not that they get accustomed to this, but they always find something interesting, something positive in their lives daily. Probably we are too young, or maybe we were too young to appreciate things, just little things of our daily routine,
Right.
which are really important too. And people, they just get happy because the postman says hello, that's all. And then they are nourishing their day with this little sentence all day long. Or when they come to see me in my office, they're just happy because they got an appointment today with someone, and that's enough for them. That's why we see them regularly. It's very important for the elderly. Sometimes it's the only meeting they will have in the week. So it's interesting. But I don't feel the elderly so sad. In
No.
fact, it's probably because they take time. They and they do appreciate little things of a daily routine, because they probably catch the importance of small things in our life, like just only saying hello to someone, or just giving a smile, or something simple things, which are the most important, I think.
Hmm. So we could say that sometimes we might need to think about our thinking. Um,
Absolutely.
so we could say, do we know whether we're talking in a more negative way or a positive way about ourselves and how we feel about ourselves? So we could think, what's the first thing we say when we wake up in the morning? And then what do we say when we are getting ready in the morning, going through our morning routine? Maybe on the way to work, what do we say when we get to work? How do we talk to ourselves? How do we talk to ourselves at lunchtime? Then through the afternoon, in the evening? And are you actually giving yourself a hard time? Or are you actually supporting yourself and championing what you're doing and saying, actually, you're really good, and
Hmm.
that you're open and receptive to receiving love and help from other people? Because I would think
Yes,
that's a really good thing to do. What do you think, Val?
I think so. Beginning your journey, your daily journey, in a way, with positive affirmations,
Yeah.
and uh, this positivity, you can build it every day.
Absolutely. And you can, even if you don't feel it, you can say, I'm willing to be open and receptive to receiving.
Yes. Yeah.
It's just that willingness, and that, like you say, that bit every day. And just because what you're doing is, when you do the affirmations, you're getting yourself into a place of belief, to believe that actually maybe you are worthy enough to be loved, and to love yourself, and to appreciate you for how wonderful you are, because we're all wonderful.
Yes, absolutely. I do agree. So it's okay. But most of the people I see in front of me, they are maybe people who feel unhappy or unloved because of the way they live. They have a lot of followers or a lot of friends on Facebook, but they don't even know their neighbors. They
Mm,
don't even know uh, which made the quality of a relationship with it, which is to me being here,
mm,
present. That's what I mean.
So actually
Present.
talking to real people face to face,
Yes, face to face. That's
rather than
important.
just online
Yeah,
via our phones.
yeah. It
Mm,
can also be important for the elderly to get phone calls from their family, of course, but
mm.
it's always the same. It's fighting against this feeling of loneliness.
Mm.
If you do not feel lonely, you do not necessarily need to be loved in a way, because you can fool your life with a lot of things during the day.
Mm. So,
Friends.
so maybe if people watching this are thinking, actually, I feel pretty good about myself already, maybe you can spread a bit of love and joy to somebody else by sending them an unexpected message and saying, I'm just
Yes,
thinking of you.
just giving
Sending more
some
love.
small attention to everyone any day, and not necessarily making big gifts that cost a lot, but the
Exactly.
things list is the most important.
A smile, a hug.
Oh, a smile, a hug. I hug a lot in my office.
I hug a lot. I'm a very huggy person.
Yeah.
And just a few minutes for somebody to have a chat with you
Mm.
as well. You know, that's always nice when, you know, if you're out on the street and you bump into someone, give them a little tiny bit of your time.
I do love to talk to people when I'm queuing at the supermarket, for instance. You discover a lot. Because when you're waiting, you have some time because you have nothing else to do, and you just have to turn and talk to the people around you. That's all.
I
Create
know.
link, create link between people.
Yeah.
That's how you feel happy in a way.
Hmm.
No matter what they think about you, just if you are what you are, it's not that complicated.
So, I mean, I would just say, because sometimes feeling loved and happy might seem like a big step if you're feeling really down. But
Mhm.
actually, not try to get to the place of feeling really loved and happy, but just taking the next little baby step that will get you feeling a little bit better. And then
Absolutely.
little baby
Day
step,
by day, step by step.
step by step. That's it. Just those little bits that get you feeling, maybe a few words to yourself of encouragement, or watching something that makes you feel good. Something like that, just to take you the next little bit up to getting yourself into a better feeling place all the time. So important.
Yes.
You've got to take care of yourself, because if you don't, who's going to?
And being grateful to
Yeah,
what you already have.
absolutely. That's a biggie, isn't it? Being grateful.
Grateful. Thank the universe for what you already have. No
Mm,
matter, just see the positive things in your life. That's how you are happy.
yeah. Because no matter how bad a situation, there's always something positive in there to find.
Mm.
So thank you.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So thank you, Val. This has been wonderful conversation. Thank you so much. So I hope you're watching, you've got something out of this, and catch other videos on this as well. You can subscribe on my site, and I'm really, really pleased that you've managed to join us today. This is such a privilege to have you here. And thank you so much, Val. It's an absolute honor to speak to you like this. Thank you so much. Take care.
Thank you, Debbie. Bye.
Bye-bye.